7:41, this is Breakfast with Stephen and Anne.
Now, take a look at this lovely photo on the front page of many of the papers today. This one's from the Mail, of Prince William with his 3 children. That photo apparently taken in Windsor. And, of course, it's been released to mark Father's Day.
It is a nice picture.
It is. It's lovely.
The Mail on Sunday's got a great shot, actually. It's an aerial shot of the Red Arrows soaring over the Mall and Buckingham Palace during the fly past.
Oh, I did enjoy that fly past. That was good. And, of course, all the photographers were after Prince Louis. And he did pull a few faces. He really enjoyed it, actually. There you've got the Sunday Express showing him stealing the show once again at the Trooping of the Colour.
So he's saluting one of them. He doesn't know how to salute.
He's saluting one of them. Well, he does.
No.
Oh, he's saluting American style.
That's American style salute, yes. Not how we do it over here.
Yeah, no, we do it.
Stephen.
We do it with a flat hand.
With flat hand.
And the
Flat
Americans do it with a tipped hand.
Yeah, meant to do it like that. Come on, he should know. He's in some military family.
Actually.
About time he learned.
Oh, shock horror. The royal family don't know how to salute.
I mean, you'll be waving like that next instead of... Go on,
You do that
teach it.
very well.
Yes, you do. I did see some old footage of the Queen Mum, actually, quite recently, and she was really good at that.
She was particularly good at that.
Yes, it just like, very good. The Sunday Mirror has... photos from that bombshell footage showing Conservative staff boozing and dancing at the height of the COVID pandemic. And just on that one, before we look at the papers, Darren's been in touch and says, like Stephen, my views have changed. This is now about the relationship between the public and authority and the clear contempt for us. Rewards then for wrongdoing, whilst the rest of us were blamed for not following the rules.
I think that's very interesting because it is. I mean,
it's not about the cake, is it, anymore?
It's not about the cake. It's not even about the people. It's about the fact that it seemed to be acceptable for them to be laughing at the rest of us who were all locked down.
Yeah. Anyway, let's talk...
They didn't think there was anything wrong about that. That's it's so annoying, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, they didn't think it was anything sort of morally wrong. No. They knew it was against the rules because they joke about it in the video.
And it's not just the people in the video. It's where are their bosses? Where is there a boss walking in saying, this must stop now?
Yeah.
Nobody in authority or nobody wanting the authority to say that?
Don't know. Let's talk to the former editor of the Daily Star, Dawn Neeson, and editor of Spiked, Tom Slater. Good morning.
Good morning.
Both. There's a lot of focus on the Tories. Let's have a look at Labour, should we? Sun on Sunday. Oh, this will get people going. Explain all, Tom.
So Ed Miliband, who obviously is kind of Labour's environmental shadow minister, has to say he's been caught is a little bit unfair. Some footage has been unearthed of him from a few years ago praising Extinction Rebellion, saying that their actions were exciting, should be sustained, that they'd completely, moved the Overton window on green issues. Now, this is obviously quite embarrassing for Labour, given the fact that they're trying to kind of do two things at the same time. We've had Keir Starmer, who has also praised Extinction Rebellion in the not too distant past, but since tried to sound more bullish on this, tried to say that he doesn't support what they're doing, that they should stop blocking ordinary people's lives and so on. But at the same time, Labour might want to distance themselves from groups like Just Stop Oil, but they kind of have become the Just Stop Oil party. They do have this new pledge to block any new oil and gas licences if they come to power. And so this is a question I have to ask, is that the fact that they want to kind of try and distance themselves from the kind of more bedraggled end of like green activism because they're a bit of an embarrassment, they don't want to look loony left and so on. But at the same time, their agenda is not all that different. The timescales are a little bit different maybe. The radicalism, at least in terms of rhetoric, is a little bit different, but the upshot of it is they also want to go along with these policies, which in the midst of a cost of living crisis, need for energy security given the war in Ukraine and so on, will strike most ordinary people as just a bit of a...
accept a £150 million donation from the head of the Just Stop Oil organisation?
Certainly someone who was, I forget his exact involvement.
To it.
Yeah, he said the work of Extinction Rebellion was a fantastic success and wanted it deepened.
But if this was a few years ago, it may be before we saw the worst.
I think it was before they started gluing themselves to things.
I mean, they've been gluing themselves since its day one, haven't they? I'm not sure. The tactics haven't changed all that much. But I think what's different is that Labour have kind of realised finally, it took them a little while, that people stopping delivery drivers going about their business or gluing themselves to trains when people are trying to get to work. It's not actually that popular.
No, I mean, a couple of years ago when you said this, it's still when they sort of took over Parliament Square and camped out there, and the lovely Emma Thompson flew in on her private jet to join the environmental campaign.
Yeah, it was worth remembering, they got a very gentle reception from the media originally. There was this kind of moment where Extinction Rebellion and so on, even though ordinary people, I think, were increasingly infuriated by this kind of thing because it was just stopping people going about their daily lives, the mood changed quite quickly. So that's, I suppose, is one thing that's kind of shifted, is that Labour have recognised that you can't win any brownie points by cuddling up to these people.
No.
The thing is with politics, it's like you were saying just now, Stephen, and going back to the Partygate video that we've all seen, and it is shocking. It's the arrogance and the contempt with which they treat us.
And hypocrisy. Yeah. I mean, hypocrisy seems to be riddled.
Absolutely. It's the main policy for every single party at the moment. It's so out of touch with what people are thinking and feeling. And there's no...
Mind you, we're all thinking and feeling nice things about the fly pass yesterday.
Yeah, should we talk about something lovely?
Nice,
This is, surprisingly, not on many of the front pages, which it was like the Mirror and the people in the Sunday Express have got pictures of Louis. But, you know, it was a big event. I mean, London was brought to a standstill. There were 70 aircraft, you know, that magnificent picture of the Red Arrows, you know, the slimmed-down royal family on the balcony. You know, it's King Charles's first trooping of the colour ceremony. He was the first monarch since his mum in 1986 to ride a horse through it. And it was actually really good. And, you know, the kids were brilliant. And as you say, Dan, earlier on, they've all focused on little Louis, haven't they, pulling those faces. And his saluting, which I thought was very cute. He is only 5, Stephen.
Get it right.
And did he get the Superman thing right, though? Did you do that right?
Oh, that was nice.
He did a little Superman thing.
That was very good,
Yeah, you okay with that one? You're happy with that one?
Yeah, he punched the air.
It's a feel-good factor. But then again, there are people that, we're paying for the royal family, we shouldn't have them, But, I mean, come on, cut them some slack.
Come on, tell me what you thought of Camilla's outfit.
Oh, I heard what you said. I thought...
Because it did. She's the Colonel-in-Chief of a regiment or two, and she is Queen. So apparently she wanted something that would reflect that, and she wore what we came to the conclusion looked like a jacket that she'd borrowed off one of the Chelsea pensioners.
Yes, yes.
Did you agree?
Well, I mean,
try and find a picture
possibly a little bit, but I think you're both being a bit mean.
No, I'm not. No, Anne's being mean. I'm not.
You're having a go at a 5-year-old.
No, I'm just having a go at picture. No, I think it looks great. I think it looks great. It does look like a Chelsea pensioner outfit, but I think she looks great.
I'm quite happy to say that most of Camilla's outfits I think are terrific. I think she's
amazing for her age.
She really has done so well since she became more prominent. But this one, a no for me.
No, I thought our Kate looked amazing. I mean, head to toe green, hence the green. She looks stunning, and it's just all about the kids. It's just a feel-good factor. Can we have some feel-good factors?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, and none of the soldiers fainted, and they were all impeccable, weren't they?
And the weather held.
Yes.
Weather held.
Yeah, I mean, you know, compared to the coronation where it rained all day, we actually saw a brilliant fly past and crowds.
And I also think watching Kate and Camilla sitting there, watching all of the marching going on in Horse Guards, they don't have as good a view as we do, because one of the most brilliant things about watching that happen is to see the aerial view, to see how impeccably they do it. But I think from Kate and Camilla's point of view, all they were getting was dust in their faces and, you know, just straight on, and then having to keep standing up and sitting down, as different colours went past.
I'll tell you what an incredible moment for those taking part. And it was led by somebody I know.
Oh.
Captain,
the whole thing?
Yes, wow. Captain Jonathan Leonard, who is a lovely fella, and his sister actually is Kimberly Leonard, who's a broadcaster where I used to work.
Oh,
who's one of my very closest friends.
She's lovely.
Kimberly's lovely.
Yeah,
her brother led that yesterday.
Well, he must be rather young to have led.
He's he's 33, 34, something like
That's
that.
very young.
Wow. He done well.
Very impressive. He's Adge for the Welsh Guards.
Wow. 1,400 troops, 200 horses. We do this thing well.
We do it well.
And the horses were superb.
Yes. OK, let's have a look, Tom, at the Sunday Telegraph, should we? A bit of COVID, the inquiry.
Yes, so it's being criticised for essentially pushing out lockdown skeptics for limiting the kind of range of debate that's going on in the inquiry to certain issues. So you've had prominent lockdown skeptics, people like Sir Tom Jefferson, not Sir, as well as people like Carol Sikora, the oncologist, used to work at the World Health Organization. Two people who are quite prominent throughout the whole COVID inquiry, throughout the whole COVID pandemic, who criticising the lockdowns, asking for the evidence base, talking about what could be the unforeseen circumstances, and yet they're saying they've been snubbed. Also, kind of analysis of what the materials that have been put before the COVID inquiry by the Institute of Economic Affairs has made this point as well. And I think it would be a huge, missed opportunity is a light way to put it, if this wasn't put at front and centre in this particular inquiry, because we have had pandemics before, we haven't had lockdowns before. There are people who will say that that's justified. There are people who say that the ends justified the means. But given the fact this was the most significant infringement on our civil liberties, not just in peacetime, but ever, people have worked up. Because, in terms of not being able to even leave your house unless you had an excuse, completely flipping the usual standard on its head, which is you should be free unless the law tells you can't do something. All of this is really significant, and also because of the fact that as the years and months roll on, as people start to look at how different countries fared, the fact that Sweden, which shunned hard lockdowns, is coming out actually quite well in terms of excess
and plus they had an inquiry within 6 months.
That's the
other
other
results.
So
we've got to wait 3 years.
Well, this is the thing. I think not only do we have an inquiry which seems to be limiting what can be said about this, which I think is very alarming, it's also the fact that it's going to run on for so long, and yet it feels like the conclusions have already been written, and that I don't think is in anyone's interest.
Do these inquiries actually achieve anything? I mean, I was saying this last hour, was it? They cost millions of pounds.
And by the time most of them are concluded as well, everything's moved on so much that what you discover from what happened in the past is no longer relevant in any case.
And that's the thing, it's not even that they're a waste of time. I think they actually can be quite cynical, because you have an inquiry set up, you make the terms of reference so wide, and the potential for it going on for months and months and years, and so you get to a point where the government that set it up is about 2 governments ago by the time it reports.
And there's another pandemic happening.
And then there's another pandemic. The heat's been taken out of the issue. No one's being held to account. So I think it can be an activity in actually passing the buck rather than actually being held accountable.
Things like that need to be looked at. I think I'd rather a few million quid went to end the strikes or something.
Absolutely.
Except more than that. Tom Slater, Dawn Neeson, you've been marvellous, can I say? Oh, you got that right.
Well done.
Yes, you got that right. We'll see you in the next hour.